It was a grey, drizzly afternoon in central London. The kind of weather that made everything feel colder, meaner, and lonelier. Outside a modest brick apartment block, a crowd had gathered on the wet sidewalk. Their eyes were fixed on a frail elderly man, maybe in his late 70s, standing in the doorway with shaking hands and misted-over glasses. He wore a faded brown coat that had seen better decades and clutched a worn leather briefcase to his chest like it still had purpose. His name was Harold, a retired schoolteacher who had lived in that flat for 42 years. But that afternoon, he was being evicted. The landlord's agent, a young man in an expensive suit with a smug smile and clipboard, had arrived right on time. A pair of movers were already hauling out Harold's belongings, a threadbare armchair, boxes of books, framed photos of a life long lived. "I paid what I could last month," Harold pleaded quietly, voice cracking. "I just needed 2 more weeks." The agent didn't even look up. "Sorry, sir. Orders are orders. Your payment plan was denied. It's time to go." The neighbors watched. Some whispered. Most stayed quiet. A few took videos on their phones. No one stepped forward. Until a sleek black Audi pulled up across the street. The driver's door opened, and out stepped Jason Statham. He wasn't surrounded by cameras or security. No assistants. Just him. Dressed in jeans and a fitted coat, walking with the calm confidence of someone who'd faced worse situations in real life than most ever saw on a screen. At first, no one believed it. A few gasps rippled through the crowd. But Jason didn't glance around for recognition. His eyes locked directly on Harold. He walked straight across the road, through the murmuring crowd, and stepped onto the curb where Harold stood, now trembling not from the cold but from shock. "Sir," Jason said, his voice low, gravelly, and serious. "Are they putting you out?" Harold nodded slowly. "I've lived here since 1983. Raised my daughter here. My wife passed in that living room. I fell behind." The landlord's agent, now slightly nervous, stepped forward. "Look, Mr. Statham, I don't think this is any of your concern. The property has changed ownership. The eviction is legal." Jason turned to face him, the same way he does in his films when someone's about to regret their choices. "I've got a few minutes," he said. "Let's make it my concern." He reached into his coat and pulled out his phone. "Call the new owner. Right now." The agent hesitated. "I said, call him." Within minutes, the property manager was on speakerphone. Jason stepped away briefly to talk in private, just long enough for whispers to spread through the crowd. Someone said they saw Jason open his banking app. Another claimed he made a call to a friend in real estate. A third swore he overheard Jason say, "I'll take care of it. Tell him the tenant stays." Then, calmly, he walked back and looked Harold in the eyes. "You're not going anywhere." The agent's phone buzzed. His expression changed. He glanced up at Jason, back at Harold, and finally muttered, "The eviction's cancelled." The movers stood frozen, still holding Harold's coffee table midair. The crowd burst into murmurs and a few spontaneous claps. Someone shouted, "Legend!" But Jason didn't pose for selfies or soak in the applause. Instead, he turned to Harold and said, "You remind me of my old school headmaster. The man was tough, honest, and always showed up for people. Let me return the favor." He handed Harold a business card with nothing but his name and a private number. "If you ever need anything, you call. Not the press. Not the council. Me." Then he simply walked back to his car, stepped in, and drove away, like it was just another thing on his to-do list. Harold stood frozen at the doorway, eyes wide with disbelief. He hadn't just been saved. He'd been seen. That evening, the story spread like wildfire. The videos taken by witnesses exploded online. News outlets picked it up. Thousands commented with disbelief, respect, and something rare, hope. For once, the hero wasn't in a film. He was on a rainy street in London, when someone truly needed him.